Hello, hello. How are we doing, everyone? Let's get that opened. Alright. What's everyone saying? And by everyone I mean 6 people watching. Oh, I've got an ad coming up. Let's skip this one, shall we? I haven't even started the stream yet, already getting an ad. You should be able to hear me, right? Just want to make sure everything's in order. Hello, chat. Who we've got? We've got Quarkle. We've got DD. We've got Stoica Alexandru. We've got AJ. All the greats. Greetings from Romania. Greetings from France. We're here in France today. We can hear. Great. Cool. I wonder what the latency is. We've got Festive Sandwich in the chat. How you doing? This mic is very, very quiet, so I have to be really close to it. I have to speak right into it, as is the case with many USB mics. Is the music too loud? It should be alright compared to my voice. The levels, I think levels are good. Just kind of easing into this one, yeah? With a little beer. If you got a beer, guys, crack it open. It's good for the first day jitters. Well, that's the thing, Alexander. I'm not French. I am English. I just happen to live in France. So that's why. How am I going to do this? Should I just put the chat on my phone? So I can, because I don't have 2 monitors. I need to get a second monitor. That would make things a lot easier. I guess I'll just open it up on my phone. There we go. Phidias Albert, Jesus Christ. Is that that's racist, isn't it? How's my evening? My evening's alright. My shoulders hurt because I have a really bad sunburn on my shoulders. That's the problem when you live in Marseille, near the beach. You end up going to the beach all the time, and when you have a pale English complexion like me, you get burnt. But other than that, I'm good. How are you guys doing? How's everything in Romania? I haven't started peeling yet, no. It's been like 3 days, so I don't know when the peeling sets in usually. But yeah, I've been applying some lotions, so no, it'll be alright. Playing Fate Grand Order. Ooh. Feeling fine, alright, cool. Almost end of summer. Is it? What are we? August? When does summer end? September? Well, anyway, it doesn't feel like end of summer here. I think here it's like summer for like 8 months of the year, so yeah. Am I watching the new Monogatari season? No, not yet. I will. I might wait until it's all been released, and then I'll just catch up on it. The way I am with Monogatari usually is that I'm just like kind of all or nothing. Like when I'm in a Monogatari phase, I'm like really in a Monogatari phase, and I just watch only that, read only that. I just get really into it. Those are usually the phases when I post about almost having the video ready, my famous Monogatari video that'll never come out. But yeah, I'm not really in a Monogatari phase at the moment, so I don't want to just like force myself to watch it. Yeah, I don't know, what arc are they adapting at the moment? Is it the Nadeko arc or the Tsukihi arc? Because I know that they skipped the Sodachi arc, which is should be the first arc of off season, or at least it is in the novel, right? They skipped it, so I assume they'll get to it later, but it's interesting. I don't know why they changed the order of the arcs. But yeah, no, I'll get around to it eventually. Is it good? I know they have a new director on it. I haven't seen her previous work, I don't think. I don't think, has she directed anything? Like, has she been a series director on anything before? I'm not sure. But yeah, no. I was gonna say the reason I was talking about them skipping over Sodachi is because Sodachi is the one arc. Sodachi and the Suruga arcs. Those two arcs are the first two arcs of off-season, and they skipped those two arcs and jumped right into the other arc, right? Which is funny because those are the only two arcs that I read in off-season. So it's almost like they're like, we know you've already read those two arcs, we'll just start with the arcs you haven't read yet so you can jump right in. But I haven't jumped in yet. Shinobu one's next. Ooh. Yeah. I think that one's supposed to be kind of interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. Any new media recommendations? Recommendations. Well, don't know about that. What a strange answer. Yeah, no, maybe. Sorry, this music is getting too loud for me. I need to turn it down. Talking of media recommendations, yeah, no, that's probably something that I'm going to be doing on stream. If I do regular streams, because that's kind of what I'm dealing with at the moment. I guess that's a good time to actually segue into the actual stream. How do I do this? Okay, so we've got boomer time here. Let's actually start the stream. Has that worked? Yeah, it's worked, okay. Okay, so let's transition out of the intro, my loop-in intro, and actually start the stream here, yeah? So, greet you with this blank screen, blank page. Recommendations. Let's type that down. Recommendations. So, the point of this stream, it's a bit of a test stream because it's my first one. First stage hitters and all that. The point of this stream is just going to be kind of figuring out what I'm going to be doing on these streams. Because I would really like to do regular streams. To me, being a live streamer is like the internet equivalent of the American dream. It's just it's just easy money, you know. The idea of just sitting here on my computer, just chatting shit, watching stuff, talking about stuff, playing games or whatever, and getting paid to do that sounds brilliant. So I'd like to do regular streams, mostly just to kind of fill the gaps in between my actual videos on my channel. Because if I've proven anything over the past few years, is that I'm incapable of being or of uploading videos on a regular basis. So I want to do some kind of low effort, quick content to just stuff to put out there in between the videos. So this first stream I'm going to be just going over some ideas of kinds of content that I could fill my streams with. So one idea is recommendations. So some of my most recent videos, as you may have noticed, we were sorry, I was just reading chat. I don't know why I'm saying sorry to you. I'm saying sorry to chat. I was just reading chat. Yeah, some of my most recent videos were recommendation videos. So I did 2 anime recommendation videos, both of which were pretty successful relative to most of my other videos. And the other two were TV show recommendation videos. And the idea behind that was just kind of like this. The idea was to do more low effort content that I could get out quickly. The only problem with recommendation videos, like the only time consuming part really, is just actually watching, especially if I'm talking about TV shows, actually watching all of the shows. But other than that, actually writing the scripts is pretty easy, the editing is pretty easy. So I thought that would be a good idea. And it was doing alright. The TV show recommendation videos didn't really pop off, but the anime ones did, which isn't surprising because most of my subscriber base, I guess, is more about anime. But then I was busy, so I couldn't really keep the schedule up. I was moving into the apartment that I'm in now, so I couldn't really get any videos out. And I could keep doing kind of low effort recommendation videos, but it feels like it would just kind of muddy. It would I don't know. It would fill the channel with a kind of content that I don't necessarily want the channel to be full of. I feel like streams are kind of separate enough that I can do and I'm not saying it's bad content, but like more low effort, easy to do content on the stream, and then keep the videos kind of separate, keep the videos more high effort, more researched and all that. So I think that's the plan at the moment. Do streams on a regular basis, and then work on bigger, more well-researched videos in the background in the meantime. Better served for YouTube Shorts. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I guess I've never really even considered YouTube Shorts, to be honest. I don't know if it's as I don't know how it works. Is it as profitable? Like, does it work the same? Like, how do you make money off shorts? Guy who only cares about the money. The Max TV show is one of my favourite shows. Thank you for recommending me that amazing series. The Max. The Max is great. Go watch The Max. I've never read the comic, actually. I've only seen the show. But yeah, the show is really, really good. Really unique. Hopefully you make that money. Yeah, I know. Shorts is the way to go if you want to make money? Oh, okay. I'll look into that. Could work. Could be a good shout. But yeah, no, chill. Streams. I kind of like the idea of doing streams because I don't know, it's kind of chill. I like the idea of just kind of going down a rabbit hole, you know, with the viewers. Just having an idea for a topic and then just kind of exploring that topic. Which is kind of stuff that I kind of talked about in that video that I just put out the other day, really. Where you just, you have this idea, something you're interested in, a topic, subject. But you don't really set up a linear structure, an organized way of approaching it. You just like dive into it and go off on tangents and whatnot. And I feel like a live stream is a good medium, a good format to explore that kind of approach, because it's just kind of on the fly, you know. What do you mean by aesthetic accounts? What constitutes an aesthetic account? I'm intrigued. But yeah, shorts could be a way to go. I mean, I'm not just like I'm just looking for a way to make easy money or anything. Like, I do want to have a particular kind of identity for the channel, which I guess is part of the problem, right? Is making easier content that I can put out on a regular basis without sacrificing whatever it is I want the identity of this channel to actually be. So yeah, one idea is recommendation videos. Well, not videos, but streams, I guess. That's something I could probably do fairly easily, whether it's anime, TV shows, or movies. Movies being the easier option because it takes less time to watch a handful of movies than it does to watch a handful of TV shows, obviously. Next up. Sorry, just taking a swig of my beer there. One idea I had was to read manga on stream. Kind of look for maybe older, more obscure manga to discover, to recommend. And just kind of read them on stream, you know, comment on them, have any observations that I might have. Because even though, it's funny because I watch a lot of anime and I'm fairly familiar with like the medium of manga, but I really don't read that many manga. And when I talk about making like low effort content, it was the same thing with the recommendation videos I was doing. Oftentimes I kind of see it as an opportunity to just read or watch a lot of stuff I've been meaning to read or watch, but haven't gotten around to because I didn't really have a good reason to like waste my time doing that. So if I could turn my streams or some of my videos into a good excuse to actually watch or read stuff I've been meaning to read, I think that would be a good use of my time. And if it helps people discover more obscure pieces of media, I think that would be a good kind of content. So I was thinking maybe something like, going through like the history of manga. So going through the classics, a kind of canon, establishing a kind of canon of manga, and reading through it. Reading through like the obviously the main the main works, your Tezukas and all that. Where would I start though? I can't start with Tezuka because that's too obvious. I'd have to look at the early history of manga because I don't really know much about it. I know that there was manga before Tezuka, but it was kind of in a different form, a different market. Well, it's ambitious. I mean, the idea of like going through the history of manga sounds pretty ambitious, but obviously I would just be picking and choosing the most important works or ones that are representative of a pretty important author's oeuvre, so to speak, and then maybe picking and choosing a few manga that seem interesting to me. And I wouldn't have to I wouldn't necessarily read the entire thing, the entire series every time, just to get an idea. I like the manga idea. Yeah, I mean, I do too. The only thing I worry about is like, is it entertaining to watch someone read manga? And I say watch because for this stream I don't have my camera on, because I thought it would be might add too many potential technical issues for my first stream to deal with that I didn't want to deal with. But I probably will have a camera on in the future. But yeah, watching someone read manga, is that entertaining? I guess if I have interesting things to say about it, it would be. Which is why I like the idea of kind of starting from the beginning and going through the history of manga, because then I feel like I would get a better understanding of the medium and its development, and I'd probably have more interesting things to say about it. Hi, Chicago Monster Punk. How you doing? CMP. I'll just call you CMP. I'll just call you Monster Punk. Yeah, watching a scene and analysing it on the spot, kind of like a director's commentary kind of thing. Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Yeah, I'll write that one down. Scene analysis. That could work. That's kind of like a step beyond like a recommendation video, right? Like I pick a specific film or a specific scene from a film and analyze it. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I think that lends itself pretty well to streaming, because you can kind of like skip on through the scene, talk about whatever aspect you want to talk about. I'm reading the Karakuri Circus English scans at the moment. I believe France was one of the few countries. You know, that's funny. I was just looking at Karakuri Circus the other day. Why was that? Did someone post about it on Twitter or something? Maybe that was to do with the scans. But yeah, I'm intrigued by that author's stuff actually. And Karakuri Circus, I don't know why, every time I try to pronounce Karakuri Circus I become Irish. There's too many R's in that thing. The Karakuri Circus seems pretty interesting. I might check that one out. What did the author do? What was the other manga? I was looking at this the other day actually. Repeating myself like a fucking old man. Karakuri Circus. That's the anime. Oh yeah, there was an anime adaptation not long ago, wasn't there? Oh wow, my internet's a bit slow. Probably because of the stream. Yeah, see, this is the kind of stuff I'm interested in. Like the history of shonen and all that. Big buff dudes, weird powers. That's my kind of stuff. Oh yeah, it's Ushio Totora. I don't know why I tried to go full Japanese on that pronunciation, but yeah, this is the other, probably his most famous one, right? The one I'm most familiar with. But yeah, this guy's work seems pretty interesting. Might check that out. Yeah, see, this is what happens every time I go on an author's mail page. I just go through everything they've ever done and add everything to my plan to read list, which is why I have like over 1,000 plan to watch anime and like 400 plan to read manga. Which, to be fair, compared to the amount of plan to watch stuff I have on Letterboxd, is pretty tame. I have like 3,600. That's ridiculous, man. Come on. Anyway, what were we saying? How long does it take you to do research on your videos and scripts? Well, I mean, obviously it depends on the video. The most recent video I did, because it was kind of, I mean, it started off as a recommendation video and then kind of slowly morphed into something more pretentious. That one didn't take too long, because I was mostly just talking about my impressions of the films in a kind of poetic way. But usually, I mean, yeah, it just depends, to be honest. It's hard to say. From the point I have an idea for a video to the video entering the recording / editing phase, if I was to get rid of all the time where I'm all the dead time where I'm just not working on it, probably a few weeks, to be honest. A few weeks, because I'm a procrastinator and it takes me ages to do anything. It's hard for me to watch a video of yours straight through without pausing, thinking, and being in the right mind space to sit down and absorb the content. I mean, thanks, Quark. I'll take that as a compliment anyway. It's a very nice way of saying that my videos are kind of boring and dense. And even right there, by saying dense, I'm kind of giving myself a little compliment, aren't I? Yeah, they're so dense and packed with layers of meaning that you have to pause the video and watch it 3 times. Yeah, no, my videos are kind of like that. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I do try to pack as much stuff as possible into every sentence and paragraph. And I know that sometimes I do tackle some hefty ideas. I kind of brush past them quickly, so it can be kind of difficult sometimes, but I do like the idea of making kind of difficult videos that you maybe have to rewatch. I'm kind of okay with that, as long as they bring in viewers in the first place. That's the main issue. This way live streams might be difficult because I feel like you have to be prepared with everything you want to talk about. Almost feels lecture-like instead of a video. Say, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. That's why I'm saying, you know, like I have to find easier content to do, because I can't be like, because I know what I'm like. I know that if I want to talk about something interesting on stream, because that's always what I want to do, I want to present interesting topics for you guys to explore and be exposed to. I know that I'm going to want to write like a script for the stream, because I'm not very good at like improvising and speaking on the spot. So yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to write scripts or like extensive notes for a stream. It seems counterproductive. Isha Totora, yeah. Did I miss anything here? Another suggestion, recommendations, but like an iceberg thing, from the most well-known titles to the most obscure ones. You pick a genre. Yeah. The iceberg thing is actually something I did consider before. I thought about it, but I didn't know in what context I could really tackle the iceberg. But yeah, how could that work? Maybe a genre or a specific, something like that. Oh yeah, sorry, you said pick a genre, yeah. Yeah, that could be a good idea. I'll write that one down. Iceberg. Full of good ideas tonight. Monster Punk. They aren't boring at all. I love them. That is why I watch and stay tuned in. I'm just saying that it seems hard to do that on live stream. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Don't worry. I often rewatch some of your videos, to be honest, just to remind myself of some of the points you made. Yeah. Well, that's nice. Yeah, talking about videos. I mean, I know that you are you French, Monster Punk, or do you just speak French? I know that you've seen my I think you've seen my French channel as well, haven't you? Which the Kubrick video that I did on my French channel, I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna be translating that for my main channel soon. Well, I say translating, but it'll be a kind of new and improved version, probably longer. I'm gonna develop some of the points I made in that video. Ouais, salut. Comment tu vas? But yeah, that and I mentioned the Kubrick video because that's a video I was particularly proud of, because I feel like it was fairly straightforward, like fairly accessible in terms of its presentation. It felt like a kind of classic video essay, and it felt kind of like it felt like kind of like an overview of Kubrick's stuff, and it was a pretty short video. It was only like 16 minutes long, but it was also pretty in-depth at the same time, and so I liked the density that I was able to achieve with that video, while also making it feel kind of accessible. I was pretty proud of that one. So yeah, I'm going to do that Kubrick video in English, and that should be pretty cool. I feel like a Kubrick video would do well, because he's one of those big names that's appealing to cinephiles. Anyway, I do think the key to live streams is making it interactive in some way, so it doesn't just feel like it's a live video. Yeah, I agree. That's part of the reason why I'm literally just reading the chat right now and not really doing anything else. I feel like I definitely have to kind of cultivate that culture with the fans, quote unquote. But yeah, and it's cool. I like talking to you guys. I'm discovering this aspect of live streaming like right now, and it's kind of fun. I'm enjoying all the compliments. And by the way, I recognize all of you people who are like regulars on YouTube or on Twitter. I recognize all of you. that sounded kind of like I'm watching you. It sounded more nefarious than I meant. But I meant that I'm like, I'm grateful for your support. So yeah, doing live streams and being able to talk with people who have been like following me for a while, that's something I'm looking forward to. Just dropping by to say hi. Been watching on and off since you were jumping shot. There's some topics too heavy for my Neanderthal brain to comprehend. It's funny that seems to be like, I don't know. People say that a lot, that like some of the stuff I talk about is kind of difficult, and I guess I just said that earlier as well. But like, I don't know if that's just genuinely because the stuff I'm talking about sometimes is kind of like academic, or if it's just that I'm not very good at explaining it. But maybe that's something I need to work on. But yeah, thanks Waniel for dropping by. I appreciate your continued support. Which can ruin a franchise for you, a prequel or a sequel? I don't know, man. I mean, anything can ruin. I don't really care about franchises, to be honest. Not to dismiss your question, but yeah, anything can ruin a franchise, obviously. There could be good prequels, good sequels. There could be bad prequels, bad sequels. Yeah, it just depends who's making it, why they're making it. What were we talking about? Before I got distracted by you pesky chatters. Yeah, iceberg. Was there another idea mentioned there? No, that was it, right? I remember you had a second channel discussing. Waniel, you got cut off there, mate. The suspense is killing me. What was my second channel? Wait, what was my second channel? I mean, I have a kind of second channel. I don't know if it's linked to on my main channel. I can't remember. Where I made those two videos that I'm probably most proud of. I've thought for a while that the idea of a more constructive version of I can't speak anymore. Script doctor culture on YouTube could be interesting. As in explorations of other large-scale narrative choices the authors could have made, both for the interest of in itself and to better understand what choices were actually made and why. Yeah, I mean, scripty stuff is obviously. I mean, some of you may not know this, but I studied script writing, and the idea was to become a script writer. So yeah, I mean, anything that's kind of script related is something I could do. By the way, if any of you are interested in script writing and have a script that you want some feedback on, I do have a Fiverr account on which I provide script editing, script feedback services. Just let me know. But yeah, like going over a movie or something. I mean, actually that's a good segue into something I wanted to talk about today. So one of the other things I could talk about on stream, obviously, is just takes on recent stuff I've watched. Movies, TV shows I've been watching recently. And I posted this on Twitter, I think, earlier. But I just watched the final episode of House of the Dragon Season 2. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it and for some reason is actually interested in watching that show. But I really want to make a video or a stream maybe, but probably a video on House of the Dragon, because I think it's terrible. And I think it's bad in a way that's kind of interesting and would be worth making a video about. So yeah, the kind of script doctor thing, because this would be almost entirely about the script, not the visuals or anything like that. Although I do think the directing is pretty boring. But yeah, so like the idea of kind of going over the script or the story and talking about what they could have done differently is something I could do with House of the Dragon. I just don't want to do one of those typical like negative YouTube criticism videos, like House of the Dragon sucks, here's why kind of things, that I kind of parodied in that Garth Marenghi video. It would have to be kind of high level criticism, some really eloquent stuff. So I'd have to work on that really hard, because I do think House of the Dragon is like really bad in a kind of, what's the word, in a kind of sneaky way, where it kind of doesn't seem that bad, but it's actually disastrous. Sorry, I missed some chats here. Something about philosophy in the 20th century. So that was I think the video is currently titled Post-Historical Man is Online. And that video is on my main channel now. But yeah, I originally posted that video on a secondary channel that I was gonna dedicate to kind of, I guess, just a different kind of video. But then I was like, yeah, what's the point? If this is something I'm interested in, I might as well post it on my main channel. But yeah, no, I think that specific channel doesn't exist anymore. Either that, or I turned it into the Nansensu channel, which I've released 2 videos on. Nansensu, or I think the channel's like at is Thunderwords, Thunder_words. I can't remember if it's linked to on my channel or not, but yeah, there's 2 videos on that secondary channel. But yeah, no, the philosophy in the 20th century or whatever thing, that's on my main channel now. I think a good idea would be to analyze the writing that is done through editing, or without any prep. Directors like Rivette write as they shoot, and Malik doesn't use a screenplay most of the time. Okay, so yeah, so what would that mean? So yeah, so how writing is done kind of on the fly. So how a narrative is constructed during production, like in the actual shoot or in the edit. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I mean that could be a topic for a video, not necessarily a stream, you know. Speaking of which, I mean, you mentioned Rivette and Malik. I mean, I've been wanting to make a video on Malik for a while. I have some ideas, and a video on Rivette. Whew. I mean, Rivette's like up there. It's one of my favorites. So when I finally get around to making a video about Rivette, that's going to be a big boy. And the how he writes, how he directs is obviously going to be a part of that. I think I remember the second channel Lane video with the sorry, quotes or something. Yeah, AJ. Yeah, that's the second channel that still exists. It's called Nansensu in katakana. So it's very hard to find. I intentionally wanted it to be a kind of obscure, kind of esoteric little channel. The other video on that channel called Endless Every Day might be one of the videos I'm most proud of ever. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. The final episode in particular, or season 2 in general? Oh, I mean season 2 in general, if not season 1 as well. Yeah, the thing about House of the Dragon, a little digression here, for those who don't watch House of the Dragon and don't give a shit, sorry, but the thing about House of the Dragon is that the first season, I already was not a big fan of it, right? I don't know if the music is loud or not, but I'm going to turn it down a little bit, just in case. season 1, I had some issues with it, but I kind of gave it a pass because I understood that the time skip situation was like hard to deal with. Like, how do you start this story where you have to show these characters when they're young, but then you have to kind of speed through years where nothing happens to get to the good stuff. So I kind of accepted that the first season was a bit of a clusterfuck and there's not much they could have really done about that. So I was like, okay, the first season, bit iffy, but maybe that's just the setup they needed to do, and season 2 is going to be where it gets good and the structure becomes more reasonable. I already didn't really like the dialogue in season 1. I was already getting a sense of that something about like a 16-year-old writing what he thinks Shakespearean dialogue sounds like. That's the kind of vibe I get from the writing in House of the Dragon. That kind of faux Elizabethan theatrical dialogue from someone who like doesn't seem to understand like Elizabethan theatre at all. But instead of season 2 being an improvement and being where things actually get rolling, because I was like, I mean, there's so many things that are going to happen in season 2. It's going to be a great season, especially if they're only doing 3 or 4 seasons. They're going to have to like get through these big events quickly, and then fast forward to season 2 and it's just stalling. So yeah, season 2. I mean, that's been the main criticism, obviously, of season 2, is that nothing really happens in it. But that's not really the problem, because you can do a season that's kind of slow and contemplative and more character-focused, but no, the writing, I think, is just terrible. I mean, it's funny, because the 3 ongoing TV shows that I've been watching at the moment all had a season that felt very stally, like they were stalling. I don't know if that's a coincidence that those seasons were like, being written around the time of the writer's strike. It doesn't seem like a coincidence. But The Boys, House of the Dragon, and The Bear, all 3 of those most recent seasons that just came out, all were very stally and nothing really happened, and that was like the main criticism people had for those seasons. I mean, The Boys is just dog shit. I'll just get that out of the way. But I didn't really have any expectations for it, so that's okay. House of the Dragon, I was kind of curious if season 2 would be a big improvement or not, and it wasn't, so I was just like, oh, fuck this. The Bear, on the other hand, is the one where everyone seemingly unanimously agreed that was pretty shit. Season 3 was pretty shit, nothing happened. And obviously, because of that contrarian that I am, I actually kind of enjoyed it. Did anyone watch The Bear season 3, or am I just talking into a void here? Analysing the recent stuff through a sociological or philosophical lens would be great, like that WandaVision video. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it would be good. You just have to find the lens. You just have to find the framework that makes it interesting. Because even that WandaVision video, I mean, I don't even remember like how much of that video was actually WandaVision discussion. I think that was only like the less than half of it, really. But I kind of like that, actually, like having a topic for a video and then like spending 60% of the video talking about other stuff. The Bear season 3, I'll get to the other chats in a minute, don't worry, guys. I say that realizing that there aren't really any other chats. The Bear season 3 was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, so another little digression here. The reason I enjoyed season 3 is because I didn't really like the first 2 seasons that much. They were entertaining, and obviously the directing, the editing's pretty solid, very refreshing for a TV show. But like, it's very repetitive. Season 2 just felt like, narratively, in terms of the stakes and the character arcs and everything, it felt like a bit of a retread of season 1, or at least specifically in Kami's character. What's his name? Kami, the main guy, that's his name, right? His like, he doesn't seem to progress at all, and so every season seems to build up to a crescendo of like him just getting really angry and then fucking everything up, and then he's like, I've got to do better, I'm gonna do better, and then he doesn't. And season 3 was that kind of again between him and Ayo Edebiri's character, whatever her name is. That relationship, those two characters, the two main characters, their relationship doesn't seem to really advance at all across the seasons. But what I liked about season 3 is that they kind of lost the pretense of really progressing the story in any way. And so they just start to kind of fall back on the things that are actually interesting or entertaining about The Bear as a show, which is just the kind of operatic, anxiety-inducing drama, and then the kind of profoundly insignificant slice of life scenes. So season 3 is just that. It's just like, oh, you want some anxiety? Here's an anxiety scene. You want just slice of life of these characters being funny and chatting shit? Here's some of that. And that's all season 3 really is. The first episode of season 3 is like pretty cool because it's like this non-linear like montage of like flashbacks and stuff, and that's the other thing. Season 3 has like a bunch of flashbacks, but all of them are useless. None of them like add anything. Like I think it's in episode 1 where he gets like, we see the flashback of him getting the phone call telling him that his brother died, and it's like, we don't need to see that. Like we don't need to see the moment he found out his brother died. We know obviously he would be devastated by it. We like there's no point showing us that. And there's a bunch of flashbacks like that in the season that just show us things that were already kind of suggested before, that we already kind of understood emotionally. So the season is just either retreading dramatic ground that we already had before, or it's just like I said, falling back into just kind of enjoying being The Bear, enjoying being this show that's good at having these specific types of scenes and this specific type of flow. The editing is the best part of The Bear probably, and the one thing that they're good at, and this is interesting in contrast to House of the Dragon, because I said they're both shows that kind of stall, but the thing is that when scenes go on for too long or not long enough in House of the Dragon, it feels uneven. It feels like the writers didn't really know what they were doing. But in The Bear, the writers and directors, they know like how to let a scene breathe, like how to live in a scene for a moment, how to let it just sit there for a bit. They know the rhythm of their show. They understand the rhythm of their show really well. So it was kind of nice to have a season where they weren't really concerned with the plot at all. They were just doing what the show does well. That's what I liked about it. That video I watched like 4 times to understand Lamau. Are you talking about that post-historical video? Yeah, that one was kind of... yeah. It's too deep. I've been asking for a video about Knight of Cups since 2021. You know what? Me too, man. Me too. But yeah, that'll be in the Malik video. Yeah, no, I genuinely think Knight of Cups is like one of the best videos of the one of the best films of the century. So, yeah, I'd love to talk about it eventually. The Bear, haven't unfortunately yet, but they need to drop the whole Cassavetes thing with the mother. Gina, yeah, rest in peace. I thought she was already dead, to be honest. So when I saw everyone talking about her on Twitter, I was like, wait, why are people talking about her? I just assumed she passed away long ago. But no, she's like a brilliant actress. Yeah, everyone can go watch Cassavetes' films. Woman Under the Influence and Faces is great. Love Streams, all that good stuff. But yeah, the Cassavetes stuff. Sorry, with the mother, yeah. Yeah, she has that whole kind of bipolar thing going on, and I guess the dinner scenes, or the dinner scene in that Thanksgiving episode or whatever it was, had a bit of a woman under the influence kind of vibe to it. Yeah, that's true. I like the stressful moments, but I think the best aspect are the quiet moments when they're just cooking, trying to work on a good dish. Yeah, I mean, that's always entertaining. AJ, have you played any visual novels? Have I played any visual novels? I've tried. What have I played? I've played, what's it called? Tsubahibi? Is that the one? Wonderful Everyday, whatever it's called. I've played a fairly significant portion of that one, but I never finished it. A fragile man like me can only handle so much lolly yuri porn in my video games. I started playing / reading whatchamacallit, Umineko. But boy oh boy, yeah, Econ's not lying when he says the writing in visual novels is subpar, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, I am interested in visual novels as a medium, so I won't dismiss them entirely. But yeah, it's not something. I mean, I don't really play video games, even. So visual novels, like spending 10 hours or whatever, clicking through text, it's not really appealing to me. But I am intrigued by the medium as a kind of development of like otaku culture and whatnot. So yeah, were there any other ideas that I forgot to write down there, other than making a Malik video? How long have we been going for? It's been like an hour. Yeah, damn. So, I'll talk about one of the ideas that I had for the stream, which was born out of those recommendation videos I made, those TV shows. I'll get to that chat in a minute. So I made 2 TV show recommendation videos that were kind of arbitrary in terms of like the selection of shows that I talked about. They were just generally kind of older, more obscure shows that I wanted to recommend, but there was no really organizing theme or whatever. But in both of those videos I kind of start with a bit of a manifesto about how people don't really take the medium of television seriously the way they do with like film or other mediums, despite the fact that like everybody watches TV shows. But people mostly only consume modern shows and don't really explore the history of the medium. And so I wanted to do those recommendation videos to kind of give people a window into some of the gems of television and show people that, like, yeah, I mean, like, the way you talk about film, the way you explore the history of film, the way you know about, the way people have an idea of like the canon of film, even if they're not particularly into film, people may have heard of like the French New Wave. People will have an idea of like Citizen Kane being like a really well regarded film. People have an idea of like different films throughout film history, even if they're not that into film. But when it comes to television, like, there are a few obviously big titles that people know about, but people don't really have a sense of the development of the medium. And so I thought about creating a kind of canon of TV shows. Obviously all canons are kind of arbitrary to a degree, but like creating a canon that could serve as an entry point for people that they could then use as like a basis for their own personal exploration of the medium, but just a kind of starting point. Because like, who talks about like old shows like Naked City or Route 66 or even like Dennis Potter shows? Like Dennis Potter is like an auteur of TV. Like, there are like TV auteurs out there, but nobody knows about them. British TV in particular has like a really interesting history, but I don't see anyone making video essays about that. So I thought in view of that, I thought using streams as a way of like exploring the history of television could be quite interesting. And maybe like, because most of these shows would obviously be kind of old and obscure, maybe even watching some of them, assuming they might not get copyright striked. And I say this because the other day, one of the ideas I had for a recommendation video for TV shows was the idea of like searching for shows with really strange concepts, premises. Because there are a lot of them, like compared to other mediums. Television, because of the kind of production circumstances, television shows, especially in the past when you had like episodic shows, nowadays with serialized dramas, it's not really the same. But when you were a producer or a network and you're trying to come up with a new hit show in a kind of episodic, like 24 episode season format, you needed a good premise, like a really strong hook, a good gimmick. And so over the years that led to like, there being shows with like really out there premises. I made a video in the past about like those, what I call those like criminal consultant shows. Those shows like that are basically just police procedurals, but they have like the one gimmick element, the one consultant who has some kind of special ability that they use to help the police solve crimes. The other day I came across an old British show from the 70s called Zodiac, I think, where in this case the consultant character is a woman who's an astrologer. So she uses astrology to help the detective solve crimes. I thought that could be a fun little show to watch on stream. Maybe just the first episode. But the idea of like searching out shows with strange premises, I feel like that's kind of a neat little gimmick. I was going to say, the reason I say this is because the other day I saw someone post about like how in the 70s Hanna-Barbera, the animation studio Hanna-Barbera, made a bunch of like Scooby-Doo clones, right? A bunch of shows that kind of attempted to recreate the formula of Scooby-Doo. So you had a group of teenagers and one like comic relief kind of gimmick character that was there, and they would solve crimes together. And so I thought, well, first of all, the premise of Scooby-Doo is kind of strange enough, but a lot of these rip-off shows, these clones, Scooby-Doo clones, Scooby-Doo scones, Scooby-Doo clones that they made in the 70s, they're pretty ridiculous. There's a ghost one, there's a speaking car, there's another dog one, and there's a caveman who arrives in the present day and helps a bunch of teenage girls solve crimes. So I feel like I might do a stream where I watch every single one of these Scooby-Doo clones. I feel like that could be fun. Low effort content. But that might be something that I do like just at the end of the stream, just watch a show, read a manga, something like that. But in the context of that project of like creating a kind of canon or a deeper understanding of the history of television, even if it's just on the surface just me watching silly TV shows, I can still always kind of present the context of those shows. So for the Scooby-Doo clones, like talking about Hanna-Barbera as a studio, its history, it's kind of known for making pretty sub-tier animation, and also like why, like if Scooby-Doo was such a hit that they felt that they had to make a bunch of Scooby-Doo rip-offs, like why did they not just continue making Scooby-Doo in the 70s. They eventually brought it back, I think, in the 80s, but why did they just start making other shows that were like Scooby-Doo instead of just doing more Scooby-Doo? And just getting a sense of the history of the medium, why TV shows tend to have bizarre concepts, stuff like that. What's your own personal approach for screenwriting? Took me a while to get to that one, sorry. My own personal approach for screenwriting. That's a good question. My own personal approach is generally just having a really great idea, like a brilliant idea for a script, and like thinking about it and taking some notes, loads of notes, good notes, and then just not writing it ever. That's kind of my method. It's kind of controversial. But yeah, no, I don't know, I guess it depends what you mean by my approach. It usually starts with an image. Yeah, you and me, brother. Yeah, the point that, well, what I mean is the point of inspiration for a story, for a script, is usually a kind of image. And when I say image, it's kind of vague. How should I put it? You're struck with a visual or a kind of vibe, an atmosphere, maybe a scene, like maybe a specific scene, and then you think, oh, that's intriguing, I like that feeling, I like the feeling of that image, and then you kind of write a story around it to justify that image, that feeling. That's often how my ideas start, is a kind of feeling, and then just an attempt to recreate that feeling in the reader's or the viewer's mind, a state of being. But obviously that's complicated because, you know, you have your own set of experiences, your own past, and the way you react to a specific image is not going to be the same when another person reacts to it. So you have to actually dig into that image and understand what is appealing about it. I think that happens a lot, is like I'll be watching something or reading something that's kind of mediocre, that's not that great. But mediocre things can oftentimes be like the most inspiring things, because obviously when you're watching something that's really good, it's hard to be inspired by it because it's usually really good because it's a reflection of that author's particular style or whatnot. And obviously that's not your style, so you're just in awe of this particular person's creation, and it doesn't really inspire you to make your own art. But when you're watching something mediocre, there might be like one or two good ideas in there, and something that evokes a feeling in you, that image, it provokes that image, that sensation. But then it immediately goes away because the rest of the thing is dog shit. And so oftentimes a lot of my ideas actually come from me watching something that I'm not really that into, but there's like one thing in that kind of inspires me in some way, and then I try to do my version of that obviously ends up being completely different from the original, but yeah, a concept, a scene, a character, something like that. Yeah. Any more questions? Any more ideas? For those who have just arrived, maybe, we're trying to come up with ideas for stuff I could do on stream. That's the idea of this first stream. It's brainstorming, just brainstorming. By the way, I just mentioned Scooby-Doo, which reminds me, a lot of you may be wondering, I say a lot of you, there's only like 12 of you, that little picture in the corner there of Melvin Doo. That's Melvin Doo from the Scooby-Doo movie, the second one. And I put him there as a replacement, a substitute for my camera, because I was intending on doing the whole Scooby-Doo clone thing today, but I don't think I will. So he was my avatar today. I agree, but I also find that to be frustrating. Like, you watch a great concept executed in the stupidest way possible. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. Oh, I don't know. I don't really get frustrated by art too much, to be honest. I don't really care about art. I have a very strange relationship with art. It's the only thing I care about, but I also don't really respect it at all. So I don't really have that many strong feelings about it. Especially negative feelings. Despite everything I just said about House of the Dragon. But yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, but like, if the film's not good, then, you know, it's not a good film. Maybe that's a good thing, because then you can take that interesting concept and then you can turn it into something interesting. Whereas if they had actually successfully executed the idea, then you wouldn't be able to do that. But do you write scripts? Like, what do you write stuff? What do you write? Any writers in chat? I'd love to do a writing stream. Not me actually writing, but just like, if there's other people who are into like creative writing, just kind of going over the process, talking about the approach, the process, what actually happens in your imagination in the during the creative act of writing. Aidan Gamble, right? What do you write? Fiction, prose, scripts? What are we talking here? Wow, we've been live for over an hour and I haven't even finished my beer yet. That means I need to shut up. I'm sorry that you guys have just been watching a blank screen for the past hour. Pretty much. Blank page. Been writing a novel over the last year, yeah. Did you just jump into the novel, or have you like written short stories beforehand or stuff like that? Because I mean, I want to write fiction, like prose fiction as well, short stories, novels maybe, but it's very it just feels like a kind of gargantuan task, especially when you have standards for prose and you feel like every sentence needs to be up to par. I mean, I've started writing these very short stories. The idea was to write like 1-page stories, and that would kind of get me into the habit of writing, and then I could kind of build up to longer short stories, and then maybe eventually, maybe even write a novel. And well, also because I'm friends with an artist. Actually, he's my flatmate. And the idea was I would write a short story and then he would do an illustration for the story. And so that's something I've been doing recently in terms of prose fiction. But yeah, writing a novel, that's just like, whew. You've got to be pretty confident in your abilities. I've been writing a short film, the screenplay is completed, but now I got to figure out how to find producers. Oh, okay. So you're just like, are you looking to like make it yourself, like direct it yourself? Or do you want to sell it? Are you looking for a director? Whatnot? Because, I mean, yeah, I've been thinking about making short films as well, but it's... for me, it's not even finding producers. Like, it's not even finding finance. If I was to make a short film, I'd conceive it in such a way that I could do it like myself without a budget. I'd try to do a kind of zero budget short film to start off with. I mean, I have like these 2 fucking DSLR cameras that are just like gathering dust here. But yeah, making a short film is like, especially when you're kind of like socially anxious like me, it's like tricky to kind of go out there and like actually organize the thing. But yeah, whereabouts are you, by the way? T'habites où? Dans quelle ville? Hard to say, I suppose. I've been writing my whole life, but this is more or less the first time I've been trying to carry a project through the whole way. Yeah, I guess that's kind of my situation as well. This has been relatively successful. Well, you know, congrats on that. Good luck with that. I hope it works out. I mean, that's always a good feeling when you feel like, oh, this project is actually working. Like I'm actually managing to write this consistently. I'm actually advancing and making progress. So yeah, that's good. If you ever want to like, ever want like feedback or anything, like DM me on Twitter or something, and like you can send me pages or whatever. I'm always interested in like befriending other creative types, people who are like getting started and wanting to make art and like collaborating or helping out and stuff. So if any of you guys have stuff you want to show me and stuff, like, yeah, I'd be happy to check it out. More than happy. Do you have any published works? No. If you're talking to me, at least, no. No, I don't. No. But who knows? Maybe some things on the horizon. I'm friends with a comic book, a comic book artist who's working on his first comic at the moment. Beforehand, he just mostly did like illustrations that he posted on Instagram, but then he got contacted by this big time editor, French editor, publisher, and so he's working on this comic at the moment that's going to be published probably next year, has a contract and everything. So I'm surrounded by people who like have contacts and like know publishers and stuff. So, and this artist friend like wants to do something with me when he finishes the project he's currently working on. So maybe in the near future I might be writing a comic book or something like that. But we'll see. I want to direct it myself, but it's ambitious and it's my first project. But my first screenplay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Any kind of film, no matter how short it is going to feel very ambitious, especially it's your first time. So where are you looking for like producers? Like you're looking for financing, right? So where are you looking for that? Are you like submitting it to like competitions and stuff like that, or do you know people? Do you have connections? J'habite à Nice et toi? Moi j'habite à Marseille là. Je viens d'emménager à Marseille il y a quelques mois. Ouais. Checking something. What was I saying? Sorry, I'm an old man. You gotta remind me what I was saying. Is there an ad at the moment? Ah oui, t'habites à Nice, pardon. Ah bah Nice, c'est pas si loin. Bah si, écoute, si jamais tu veux passer à Marseille, hein, tu me l'as dit, je peux t'héberger. Si jamais tu veux tourner ton court-métrage à Marseille. No, but passing between French and English, I feel schizophrenic here. No, I don't know anyone. I'll just send to people who produce some of my works. Like, yeah, c'est la galère. Hein. Ouais. Mais t'as fait, enfin, sorry, I'll speak in English for the whole class. Have you did you do like film studies or anything like that, or do you have like any background in film that might make it easier for you to get a short film produced? I mean, or is it just coming out of nowhere, just like a passion project kind of thing? Damn, I wanted to do a chill stream. Maybe this is a bit too chill. I'm really not doing anything at all, am I? I feel like I need to... If this stream is winding down... I mean, I'm happy to chat to whoever's left. If anyone wants to chat, just say anything. Literally anything, and I will respond. But when the stream winds down, I need to come up with something to maybe watch something, throw something on. I feel like I haven't accomplished anything this stream, so I feel like I need to accomplish something. Play a game of Rocket League? No, that would be terrible. Actually, that's another idea. Let me write that down. Writing workshop. like we could do like if I have any viewers who are like trying to write stuff, whether it's fiction, prose, screenplays, or anything like that, I could do a stream where like you send something in and we kind of critique it in a constructive manner, of course. Could do like a workshop stream. That could be cool. But I'd need to have enough people who actually like write stuff to send in. Yeah. Should we finish this biru? I will say, and this is not a passive-aggressive hint at all, but when you're doing a live stream and nobody's talking in chat, you do feel like shit. Sorry, I just needed to refresh. Loads of people have been talking. The guy who's just about to have a mental breakdown because he didn't refresh the chat. Ouais, Marseille c'est une ville très agitée, ouais. Mais j'habite dans un arrondissement qui est plutôt calme, donc ça va. Mais c'est très cool Marseille, hein. Je sais pas si tu y es déjà allé, mais ouais, c'est très cool. Film is set in London. Yeah, so you yeah. Tu cherches la merde, toi. Le mec. Ouais, ça se passe à Londres. Yeah, well, I guess maybe start with something less ambitious. Do you ever think about that? Damn, you have a cinco entire video ideas. That's almost more than 2, maybe. Yeah, man. Bing bap bong ding. I've seen you before. You have a channel, don't you? You make videos. I remember everyone. Never forget that. Yeah. Well, actually, if you were listening, Bing Bap, these are not video ideas. These are stream ideas. So, there you go. You lose. Nope, it's a passion project. I've helped on some short films, and the only contact I have is a pretty good director who's only managed to make short films because the CNC won't produce anything else. Yep. Yeah. I hear you, man. What's the start? I think a lot of people are interested by the creative and technical process, analysing a screenwriter's writing style. That's what I meant by ambitious project. Yeah, analysing a screenwriter's writing style. Yeah. I mean, there's that YouTube channel. I don't know if he makes videos anymore. What's it called? That script writing analysis channel. Oh fuck. Lessons from the screenplay. I don't know if he's made a video in a while. I haven't seen anything. But yeah, he did that kind of stuff, right? That was pretty successful. Then there's that channel Just Right, I think. I don't really watch the videos, but I think that's kind of the premise of their channel as well. Analysing writing style and stuff like that. So it can definitely work. I could definitely do streams in that vein, yeah. And a director's cinematic language. Yeah, I mean, that's another idea. Just doing a stream about a specific director. But again, I mean, that could be a video as well. Which anime do you think could be considered a screenwriter's masterclass of sorts, and why? Which anime? I'd have to think of an anime. Lessons from the screenplay is nice, but it's too yeah. It's very. Here's a quote from McKee or Sid Field or whatever. You know, it's kind of script writing guru propaganda. But I think it's useful. It could be useful for beginner writers. And his video essays were pretty solid, like pretty solidly produced. But yeah, kind of basic stuff, yeah. But those are the kind of video essays that work. Sorry, what was I reading? By Harris. Which anime do you think could be considered screenwriter's masterclass? So I have to think about anime original stuff, because otherwise it would be the manga that would be a screenwriter's masterclass. And if that's the case, then I'd probably go with an Urasawa thing, which would be Monster, I guess, because it's the only Urasawa adapted anime other than Master Keaton. But yeah, Monster's pretty great. I mean, Urasawa and his Tanto, whose name I always forget, but who was who played a big part in actually writing the scripts for a lot of Urasawa's major manga, like Monster, 20th Century Boys, and all that. Their stuff is really good. I don't know, what's a really well-written anime, like an original anime? I don't know, man. I enjoyed... I'm not going to go into the why, because I'm not going to do a whole fucking video essay right now, but if any of you are familiar with Minky Momo, who was an 80s magical girl, a very important magical girl character, but the scriptwriter for Minky Momo, the Minky Momo series franchise, is Takeshi Shudo, who also was the scriptwriter, the main scriptwriter for the original Pokemon series, and has done actually a bunch of really interesting work. But he did a few, so there was the main Minky Momo series. By the way, if you've heard of Minky Momo, it's probably because of the episode where, she gets run over by a bus. People only ever talk about the first half of that episode. Nobody talks about the second half of the episode, which is like end of Ava levels of transcendent storytelling, but in a positive light rather than a depressing light. But yeah, no, Minky Momo as a whole, I wouldn't say is a masterclass, but Takeshi Shudo wrote a few OVAs, Minky Momo OVAs, after the series ended. And one is called, is it The Bridge of Dreams, I think? Which is a really, really nice little kind of melancholy story about a bunch of people and their encounters on this bridge. I've only seen one of the Minky Momo, the one with the bridge as a theme. Yeah, so that's the one I'm talking about. So perfect. Again, I don't know if I'd say it's a masterclass. I'm just thinking of, I'm trying to come up with anime that I've seen that have a really solid screenplay. That one has like a pretty classically solid. Yeah, I love that movie. I love it too. The one he did at the train station. Again, I forget the name. The train Minky Momo OVA is maybe even better. I think is more complex. But the bridge one is like really well constructed. A classically good screenplay. What are some other anime? I'm trying to think of good anime. I don't know, man. Is it still mostly untranslated? I started watching a while ago, but my Japanese isn't strong enough yet to follow along in JP. Yeah. As of a few months ago, Crunchyroll actually, I believe, has now translated all of the original series. So I believe it was, is it Ink Subs, the fan subbing people, Ink subs, something like that. They were doing the subs for Minky Momo, and they had gotten to like episode 20 or something, and then all of a sudden Crunchyroll just like put out like 30 episodes or whatever, translated, and I think now they've put out all the episodes of the original series. So yeah, I think the original series is now fully subbed on Crunchyroll, and you can probably find it on Nia. But the sequel series, generally referred to as Umi Momo, because this version of Momo comes from the sea rather than coming from the clouds, I don't think it's been translated yet at all. Or at least last time I checked, I was watching it in Japanese, and just like you, my Japanese isn't strong enough to understand. The stories are pretty, it's a children's show, so it's not that hard to follow along the general plot of each episode. But yeah, obviously you're not going to really follow the dialogue if you don't speak Japanese, which is too bad, because I get the sense that the second series is actually better. I like the aesthetic more, I like the setting more, and the storylines of the episodes that I've watched so far have been generally more interesting, I'd say. So yeah, just little Minky Momo corner here. Minky Momo is great, by the way. It's a really great show. There's a lot of interesting ideas in Minky Momo. But the OVAs especially maybe are more accessible, in the sense that they feel a bit less like a children's magical girl show. I haven't seen anyone analyze Baki before. I think it's one of the most philosophical anime to date. It's a return to mysticism and omnipotence of nature. Dialectic of enlightenment. I assume you're trolling, but I don't know. I only watched the first episode of Baki, of the Baki anime. And I watched it because I was in the mood for some kind of insane, muscular anime entertainment. But the start isn't that great. It's not that enthralling. I assume it gets crazier later on. But I do want to watch Baki, actually. But I need to finish JoJo's first, actually. If we're talking about brawny, muscular shonen, I need to finish JoJo. That's another video I need to make, because JoJo's fucking great. I'm only on part 5. Is it part 5? Stone Ocean? Yeah. No, part 6, right? Part 6. Yeah, part 6. Stone Ocean. I haven't finished Stone Ocean yet. I need to finish that. But I have some notes already for a video on JoJo. Should be pretty cool. That's another idea, actually. I have a lot of ideas for videos that I have loads of notes for, and I just need to do research and stuff. So another idea for a stream could be research for videos, without trying to, like, without spoiling the content of what the video will be, just kind of like letting you in on my research, going down a rabbit hole with me, maybe researching some of the more tangential stuff. Like, for example, don't ask me why, but in my JoJo video I'm going to be talking about Hegel at some point. So it's kind of funny that you talked about the dialectic of enlightenment with respect to Baki, because I'm going to be talking about Hegel with respect to JoJo. So maybe if, like, I could do a stream where I kind of go down into what the fuck does that mean, dude? I kind of explore some Hegel stuff that will be relevant to my video, but which won't, like, spoil the contents of the video on JoJo. So research videos in preparation for research streams in preparation for a video. That could be something else. 6, yeah. Part 6, yeah. Did I miss something? But going back to that anime that I would consider a screenwriter's masterclass question. I'm gonna have to think about that, actually. I need, like, a list of anime in front of me, because I have a terrible memory. Because right now all I can think of is, like, Evangelion and, like, Tatami Galaxy for some reason. I wouldn't say Evangelion is like a screenwriter's masterclass in a conventional sense, and Tatami Galaxy is an adaptation. So, but it is very well written. By the way, have there been ads? Have there been any ads on this stream? Let me know when there's an ad. I know that not all of you get the ads at the same time, but whatever. Hegel's Hegel or Kojev's Hegel? Good question. No, this is Hegel's Hegel, actually, because it's to do with his thoughts on aesthetics and art, which I don't know if Kojev ever covered Hegel's views on art. He might have. He probably did somewhere, but not that I ever read, anyway. But yeah, Hegel's view on art is going to be relevant to my JoJo's video somehow. Actually, weren't there, like, loads of recently discovered, like, Hegel lectures or something on, like, aesthetics specifically that were discovered like a year ago or something? What happened with that? Did they ever get published? I need to look into that, because we don't really know that much about Hegel's views on art. I think we only have, like, lectures that were written down by some of his students, so there's a lot of, like, controversy. How am I as an Englishman supposed to pronounce that word? Controversy, right? Anyway, there's been his views on art weren't very clear, I think, but apparently, I think, actually, let me look that up. It's going to give you some visuals. Hegel art lectures. I don't know. Discovered. I don't know if they were. Oh, there you go. More than 4,000 pages of notes from Hegel's lectures at the Heidelberg University have been discovered in the library of the Archdiocese of Munich and Freising. Okay. So when was that? 2022. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so are they going to be published at some point, or what are we dealing with here? Lydia let's do some reading here, guys. Wikipedia reading time. Lydia Moland states that understanding Hegel's theory of aesthetics presents a significant challenge with Hegel scholarship due to the nature of the surviving materials on aesthetics. Although Hegel lectured on art several times, he died before he was able to publish the handbook that he intended to use to accompany the lectures, and outside of the Phenomenology, he only published a brief section in the encyclopedia. After his death, one of his former Berlin students, Heinrich Gustav Hotho, gathered the lecture notes that Hegel had intended to adapt for publication and combined them with a significant number of student notes. While this work has been the standard text for almost 200 years, more recent studies by Anne-Marie Gethman-Siefert have shown that there is a significant amount of material in Hotho's text that is not represented in the student notes, and it is unclear how much of the material is originally based on manuscripts that have been lost. Additionally, the student notes show that Hegel's views on aesthetics evolved over time, while Hotho's text only presents a compiled, synthesized version of Hegel's thought. A possible solution to these interpretive problems will come from the discovery in 2022 made by Hegel's biographer Klaus Weyeg. More than 4,000 pages of notes from Hegel's lectures at the Heidelberg University have been discovered in the library of the Archdiocese of Munich and Freising. These notes mainly deal with aesthetics and were written by Carouet between 1816 and 1818. Weyeg argues that this material will help scholars resolve the issue relating to the authenticity of Hotho's transcriptions, which are so far the only source on Hegelian aesthetics. These new notes are the only ones available dating back to Hegel's teaching period in Heidelberg, and will be of absolute use in reconstructing the genesis of Hegelian thought on art and its relationship with religion and philosophy in general. Okay, so that's cool, but when are they going to be published, though? That's my question. But anyway, these notes, these 4,000 pages of notes, will at some point, I'm sure, be useful and relevant to my video on JoJo. DD says, analysis video on the Gundam women. Maybe. You remind me of another one of my projects that will never be completed. My Gundam analysis. I'm a big fan of Tomino's work. The work of his that I've seen so far, at least. I'm not an expert on his filmography, but yeah, I do love me some Gundam, especially Zeta Gundam. But no, I don't think he's a misogynist, and I don't think Gundam is misogynist. I feel like that's always the discourse that pops up in relation to Gundam, but it really depends on what sort of work you'd like to write. I'm sorry, Aiden, I've forgotten what you're referring to. Yeah, got 3 unskippable plans in less than 10 minutes. Is that true? Bing Bap? If so, I might just turn the ads off. I knew the stream would be better than Bad and Bananas. Are his streams good? Are they? What does he do? Does he just talk about like breadtube and stuff? What does he talk about? I remember reading about that too. Yeah, so we all read about it, but we don't see any news about publications of these notes. Suspicious, if you ask me. But anything. Anyway, anything. Anyway, yeah, whatever I read about in the currently existing notes on Hegel's aesthetics, something in there struck me as relevant to JoJo's for some reason. I can't remember what it was. Something to do with statues. Because these were notes that I took maybe a year or 2 years ago. That's how long some of my projects last before they're actually produced. See, this is the problem with having fucking boomer memory, is that DG just says lol, and I don't know what they're referring to. Did I say something funny? Are you responding to someone in chat? I can't remember what I literally just said 10 seconds ago. I feel like I keep forgetting to respond to people's chats. As if I have that many chats. Bad Empanada talks about how viewers should give him money. Well, I mean, if we're in the business of talking about how viewers should give people money, I mean, I'm right here. Come on. Actually, I don't even know. Can you give me money right now? Is there a donation button? I don't know how this works. I didn't set any of this up. I didn't prepare any of this. I don't know. Can you actually donate? I'm not asking this as I'm not saying, can someone donate to me, but is there even an option to donate? Do I have to wait for that? Do I have to do more streams to get that option, or how does this work? Stop smoking weed. Dude, I haven't smoked weed in ages. So joke's on you, it's just that I have a really bad memory. The joke's on you, I have Alzheimer's at the age of 26. If I go for a piss, if I leave you guys and go for a piss, are you guys gonna leave me? Are you guys gonna abandon me? There are stickers. Yeah, I don't know how it works on YouTube. I guess I'm more familiar with Twitch streams. Do you have to pay for stickers? How does that work? There are super chats, right? Basically if people send you stickers, you receive money. Okay. Well, what are you waiting for, man? Nobody else mentioned the stickers because they knew that the first person to mention the stickers had to be the one to purchase a sticker. So I'm going to go for a piss. And when I come back, if nobody has bought me a sticker, I'm gonna be pretty mad, okay? Okay. Chat amongst yourselves. Well, sorry about that, guys. On my way to the toilet, I encountered various trials and tribulations. But I'm back. I had to apply some lotion to my sunburns. Which sounds like some kind of euphemism. But no. I have some pretty bad sunburns at the moment on my shoulders. Okay, we're back. Dee says, I don't know why every time I read one of your chats I say Dee says. Dee says that was about Hegel and Jojo. I assume you're referring to the LOL. The LOL. Okay. I mean, I assume you're referring to that, but again, we find ourselves in a situation where I'm not sure what you're referring to. So it could be anything. I'll send you stickers as soon as I get my short film produced. Oh, damn. I won't hold my breath. Darn, did he go for a piss? Yes, I did. It was a good piss. It was a beer piss, so, it was very satisfying. I remember you wrote a tweet thread about Zeta in regard to the character of Rekoa. I thought it was interesting. Did I do that? I probably did, yeah. That sounds like a quote tweet kind of thread. That sounds like someone said something stupid about Rekoa and I was correcting them. I vaguely remember something like that. But yeah, Zeta's a fascinating show. Kind of imperfect, but I'm oftentimes attracted to imperfect works of art, so... but yeah, Tomino's work as a whole, Gundam as a whole, or at least Tomino's Gundam entries, are really fascinating to me. I think he's a really interesting director. And I'd love to make a video about him one day. But we won't hold our breath for that either. And damn, just like that, we've been streaming for 2 hours. And I was worried. I was worried that I wouldn't have anything to talk about. So I'd prepared all this stuff. No, I'm just joking. I hadn't prepared anything. But it turns out if you have a chat, even if you only have like 10 people in chat, you can like create content out of nothing, ex nihilo, that can occupy you for 2 hours. So yeah, this has been good. I don't know when I'm going to end. I'll probably end pretty soon. If any of you have any more like questions, ideas, stuff you want to say, just go for it, man. If I missed any questions earlier in the chat, let me know. Actually, that question about which anime is a screenwriter's masterclass is kind of haunting me now. So I wanna go have a look. Let me put us back to. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm gonna look at some anime, and you're going to tell me what's in my favorites. Futakoi Alternative, Gosenza-sama Banbanzai, Zeta Gundam, Minky Momo, Bakemono, Twilight Q, and Sexy Commando. Okay, so most of these are Actually, no. How many adaptations do we have? 1, 2. Huh. Only 2 adaptations, okay. Futakoi Alternative, is it a screenwriting masterclass? Probably not. Not a masterclass. It's solid. It's very solid. But it's more its poetry that appeals to me. And its visual poetry. But Gozenzo-sama Banbanzai, I would maybe say, is a screenwriting masterclass. It has a strange form, strange structure to it, but it is pretty brilliant. So, that one would probably be up there. Zeta, no, not a masterclass. Minky Moment, not a masterclass. Bakemono is an adaptation. Twilight Q, a 2-episode anthology. I'm particularly fond of the second episode, which is Mamoru Oshii's episode. But the first episode is pretty good too. And Sexy Commando Gaiden is a manga adaptation. Is it a script writing masterclass? You know what? Yeah. But let's look at... yeah, sorry, I was on anime already. What are some other anime? I haven't seen that many. I haven't completed that many anime. So maybe I should go into like currently watching or something. But I'm trying to think of like anime originals. Anohana. It's not a masterclass. It's pretty solid. Okuno, adaptation. More of a mood piece. Adaptation. Bad adaptation. Brain Powered. Probably not a masterclass, but another great work by Tomino Sensei. No. Judgment Ken, masterclass. Yes. What am I missing in chat? Sorry about that. How can you write such long essays with a terrible memory? You need to remember the references you'll use and the observations you've made, right? Well, the answer to that is I take notes. Yep, I'm a genius. I take notes. When I have an idea, I take notes. And that way I don't forget it. Most of my ideas come to me at night when I'm lying in bed. I've struggled with insomnia my entire life. So I often lie in bed. Actually, at the moment, it's been pretty good because I have a really good mattress at the moment. But most of my life, yeah, most of my ideas usually came to me when I was lying in bed, just thinking about stuff, and I'd have an idea for an observation, a video, whatever. And I'd pick up my phone and write the idea down, and that way I wouldn't forget it. Oh, I've got a good question. Okay, I'll read that in a minute. Let's build the suspense. Do you have any niche hobbies outside of reading, watching, and writing stuff? What do you mean outside of reading, watching, and writing stuff? You've just listed all of my hobbies. What are other niche hobbies? Being not particularly good at Rocket League, is that a hobby? No, I don't actually. I don't really have any hobbies. Going for walks. Going to the beach at the moment. No, I'm not really a hobby guy, I must say. I don't think that the use of distancing effects through montage will be less effective because social media puts an emphasis on videos with obvious cuts. I mean, you look at a TikTok video and there are constant cuts and you get so used to them you don't even notice them. I don't know if my question is clear. I could rephrase in French if you want. I think I understand. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Less effective. You'd have to start with the question, have distancing effects ever been effective? But yeah, so I guess this is a question about the changing media landscape and how it kind of normalizes certain formal processes such that it renders them ineffective in contexts where an artist may want to deploy them to a particular effect. In this case, distancing effects. Now let me think about this. Let me read this again. TikToks, modern media, social media, videos, TikToks and stuff like that. Do they really employ cuts in a way that's different from like film? Constant cuts. Oh, okay. So you mean like, yeah, okay. The rhythm, the constant cuts, do we get used to them? I don't know, man, that's a hard question. But the thing is that those videos aren't really... I think it just depends on the context. Because you're used to seeing those kinds of cuts and that kind of montage in TikToks, in social media posts. But then when you go into the realm of film, if you go to see a movie, that's a different context. So maybe you're not used to seeing those kinds of cuts in that context. So if you were to see a quote-unquote distancing effect in that context, then you would still be surprised because it's in a different context. I don't know. I don't know how the Zoomer brain has adapted to a lot of media environments, but it's a question that fascinates me. So I'll keep thinking about that. There's episodes of Urusei Yatsura that are pretty brilliant in regard to comedy writing. I'm sure there are. I've only seen like 10 episodes, so I haven't really gotten that far, and I don't know how closely it sticks to the manga either. Would that be considered to be Rumiko Takahashi's writing, or is that original writing for the anime? I don't know. Beautiful Dreamer is up there as well. I haven't seen Beautiful Dreamer yet because of what I just said, because I haven't seen all of Urusei Yatsura, and I'd like to see more of it before seeing the movies. But Oshii does know his stuff, yeah. He's an interesting filmmaker for sure. Does France have nice beaches? Yeah. So I'm in Marseille at the moment, which is in the south of France. It's very, very hot, and we do have quite a few nice beaches, yeah. While that refreshes, let me continue down this. Cowboy Bebop. Is that a screenwriting masterclass? It's got pretty solid writing. Is it a masterclass? Maybe not. No. Digimon? Not to my recollection. Ero Manga Sensei, on the other hand. Fantastic Children, not a masterclass. Fate Zero, no. Fully Cooley. Now, when you think of Fully Cooley, you mostly think of the visuals, but it does have a very solid script. Actually, it'd be interesting to read Fully Cooley in script form, because it would probably seem kind of fragment. I wonder if it would seem fragmentary, or if it actually would seem kind of conventional, but it's just the way it's presented in animation in the final form that feels kind of fragmentary and all over the place and extremely dynamic, because the script is pretty solid. Don't know if it's a masterclass. Fullmetal Alchemist adaptation, Nadia, not really a masterclass, let's be honest. Ponyo, I need to rewatch it. Genma Tyson, definitely not a masterclass. No. Hoshio no Sora was pretty good. Not a masterclass, but it was pretty solid. Unfortunate they never got a second season. Kaguya-sama's... Honestly, Kaguya-sama's a bit of a masterclass, but it's an adaptation. It's very, very well written. Very tight. Great premise. Really good stuff, honestly. Kakegurui, not quite a masterclass. Karikana, also an adaptation. Nice beaches and pretty girls. You said it. Yeah. I won't comment on that. But yeah, it's hard to walk around sometimes in Marseille and not feel kind of depressed. Anything by Satoshi Kon in terms of screenwriting masterclasses. That's a good one. I'm not a massive fan of his movies, but I do like Paranoia Agent a lot, or at least I did when I watched it a few years ago. And when I say a few years ago, my sense of time is slipping away. So I think that was in 2018, 2019, 2018 actually. I think. So that was literally 6 years ago. Bailey, come on. Wow. I'm old. But yeah, I think Paranoia Agent is probably his best screenplay. I don't know. It's kind of episodic, so it's hard to say. And actually, I don't know. Does he write his own scripts, or I think he does, right? But yeah, I mean, his scripts are generally pretty solid, I would say. There's something about his films that feel, I don't know why, they feel kind of gimmicky, maybe. I haven't seen Tokyo Godfathers. I've seen Paprika, Perfect Blue, and Millennium Actress. And I don't know, there's something about his thing, his style, that doesn't quite connect with me. I'm not sure what it is exactly. The Wind Rises, I'd have to rewatch. Martian Successor Nadeshiko, not a masterclass. The thing about Nadeshiko is that I made an entire video about it, about the kind of meta stuff, but I actually much prefer the first half of the show before it gets really meta, because meta stuff always feels kind of boring and on the nose. So yeah, that's a little tidbit for you, a little anecdote. I made a video about the meta stuff in Nadeshiko, but I actually prefer the first half of it before it gets too meta. Gundam. Maybe not a masterclass. Any of those? Kill la Kill, not a masterclass. No. Tokyo Godfathers was written by Keiko Nobumoto. Okay. Was that just that film then? Or are his other films written by Kon himself, or was he a frequent collaborator? Because he obviously does have a very distinct voice across all his work, so it seems like he does write his own stuff. The Disappearance of Haruhi has pretty tight writing. Yeah, it's an adaptation, yeah, but I haven't read the novel, so I don't know how different it is from the novel. But yeah, again, that's something I watched like fucking years ago, eons ago, so I'd have to rewatch it. But I do remember it being pretty well written, yeah. I mean, Haru in general is pretty like solid. I don't know what the novels are like, but the series was always pretty well written, pretty tight. Never really got the big deal with Satoshi Kon either. I mean, I guess I kind of get the deal. Like, I get why people like him, because of what I call gimmicky stuff. Like, it's not necessarily gimmicky. I say it's gimmicky just because I happen to not really appreciate it. But yeah, his style is distinct enough that I kind of understand why people like it. But it just, I don't know. To an extent, it does seem like, anime for people who don't really like anime, which isn't really a criticism of his work. I mean, he can do what he wants. But yeah, something about it doesn't sit right with me. I like Paranoia Agent because, I don't know, maybe if he did more stuff in as a series rather than as films, maybe his style would work better for me. I don't know. I really love the opening of Paranoia Agent, or is it the ending? Utena? Utena, good shout. it's hard with like kind of big episodic shows like that, isn't it? Because it's hard to say if they're like screenwriting masterclasses, because you're bound to have like weak episodes here and there. And I haven't finished Utena, by the way. Like, just disclaimer. I'm like I think more than halfway through it. But again, I just need to get into another Utena phase where I just like binge watch it, and I'll finish it eventually. But from what I've seen, it's well written. But I think most of the qualities of that series lie on the visual aesthetic and the atmosphere. So the writing specifically, I don't know if I would say it's a masterclass. But it's good. It's definitely good. I love him for his visionary brilliance and how he manipulates space and time. The thing of manipulation of space and time, that's kind of the go-to like thing about Satoshi Kon, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just too obvious. When he's doing something with space or with time or whatever, it's very obvious. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just a matter of taste, right? I'm not into like when an artist does something, kind of like pushes it a bit too much, you know. I like a kind of subtlety, not necessarily subtlety, but a kind of subtlety. And I guess with Satoshi Kon, it's about like, yeah, when he's doing something cool, it's like, look at this, and it's a bit too much. He's like shoving it in your face. But I mean, yeah, that's just a matter of taste, and I definitely don't think he's bad. Like, I've never disliked his stuff. I just haven't like deeply resonated with it. I'd be interested in reading his that manga, Opus, though. Was that his only manga? I can't remember. Miyazaki's films like The Wind Rises and Kiki's Delivery Service. Yeah, I mean, are those particularly better written than his other films? I don't know, I'd have to rewatch all of them. I need to watch The Boy and the Heron, actually. I have it. Don't tell anyone, but I have it downloaded. So I can watch it anytime now. I missed it at the cinema, unfortunately. I should have seen it at the cinema. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to The Boy and the Heron because people seem to be divided on it, and whenever like a prominent filmmaker releases a kind of critically divisive film, I'm always on board. That's why I can't wait to watch Megalopolis, Coppola's Megalopolis. I'm gonna love that movie, even if it's bad. But yeah, The Wind Rises and Kiki, are those particularly well written? I mean, I don't know. The Wind Rises obviously seems more kind of like mature and whatever, so it kind of makes you want to say it's well written, I guess. Kiki's great. My favourite Miyazaki is probably Porco Rosso and Totoro. But yeah, I mean, all of his screenplays are solid, definitely. Actually, that's a good shout. Ghibli, because we've got Takahata as well. And in there might be... Pompoko I'd have to rewatch, because I was extremely high the first time I saw it. And I don't remember much. I just remember Tanuki Balls. But Only Yesterday is a very good script. I would say actually most of its qualities are in its animation, its presentation, but the script itself is like really good. So yeah. Bodvar, hi, I just wanted to say that I adore your work. Can't wait for more. Thanks, man. Thanks, means a lot. I hope to create more work in the future for you to enjoy. If I rewatch this VOD, I'm going to notice how many times I say when I finish speaking. That's going to be depressing. But anyway, let's continue on this journey of screenwriting masterclasses in anime. Madoka Magica, not a masterclass, let's be honest. Mayoiga. Severely underrated, by the way. I wanted to make a video on this show once, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Maybe not. It's not a masterclass, but it's underrated. No. Mind Game. Probably not a masterclass. Oh yeah, I'm thirsty. Let's have some water, shall we? By the way, I'll probably end stream soon. Next time there's no chats for like 10 seconds. I'm gonna end stream. That's not a threat. But next time there's no chats for 10 seconds, I'm gonna end stream. That's it. And I'm never gonna stream ever again. So that's up to you guys. You know, do what you want. Kiki's an adaptation though. That's true. Good point. Is it a faithful adaptation? I've never read the source material, but yeah, I guess Howl's Moving Castle is an adaptation as well, isn't it? Which of Miyazaki's films are adaptations? Princess Mononoke, that's not an adaptation, right? The Wind Rises is not an adaptation. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is an adaptation, right? It's a children's kind of thing, isn't it? Kiki's delivery service. Can't type behind this mic. Yeah. Oh yeah. So this one's a Japanese one. I think I was thinking of Howl's Moving Castle isn't Japanese, right? Is it? That's a different... yeah, British novel. Yeah, so... That's just a straightforward fantasy novel, I guess. And this one's more of a children's thing. Miyazaki's adaptations are very faithful. Yeah, that's the impression I got. I haven't read these, so I can't say, but people seem to say that they're not usually faithful. And this is from 1885. Okay, so it wasn't too long afterwards. Yeah, I assume it's not too similar, especially this one. What has Diana Wynne Jones written? The Dark Lord of Dirkholm. The Crestomancy series. The Tough Guide to Fantasyland. Dalemark. Fantasy authors, like fantasy sagas like that series, it's hard to take them seriously, isn't it? They always have like kind of dorky names. Dalemark. The Dark Lord of Dirkholm. Like, really? But anyway. Eiko Kadomo. Most well known for Kiki. Oh, there was other Kiki novels, I guess. But yeah. So I guess we could probably say that they're fairly original. His versions of those novels are pretty original. Yeah, Princess Mononoke. Monster, I said, very well written, but it's an adaptation. And yesterday already mentioned. Where are some anime originals here? Ping Pong's very well written. It's an adaptation, of course. Planet With. See, this is another one of those shows. Kind of flew under the radar. Not really visually impressive, but this show is very well written. And I highly recommend it. I'm losing my voice, I realise now. Which is probably a good sign that I need to end soon. But yeah, Planet With is an interesting take on tokusatsu, kind of on the kind of tokusatsu formula. Yeah. Recommend. Project Zeorama. I talked about this in one of my recent videos, didn't I? Not a masterclass, but pretty good actually. Kind of incomplete though. You know what? This OVA, there's something about this little thing here. 1,800 users rated it. You know what? That's actually quite a few people. So quite a few people have seen this. And this is based off a manga. This is just one of the volumes of the series. Of this series, I believe. But there's something really, I don't know. I really like this OVA. It's kind of shoddy, but the atmosphere, the vibe, the kind of... I really want to read the manga it's based on. It's adapted from. But I don't think it's been translated. Or at least most of it hasn't been translated. I don't know why I'm having a little tangent on this little OVA here, but go watch it. It's weird. It has a weird musical sequence, I think. And technically it's BL, I guess. There's not much BL in it. It's more just vibes. But something, sometimes you encounter those works that are kind of imperfect, but they really stick with you. And I was talking about this earlier. When you see kind of mediocre works that inspire you in some way and you want to do your own kind of version of it. This is one of those, for sure. And I want to watch more, I want to read more, I want to read her manga. Maybe some other time. I think maybe the first volume has been translated. Lunatic Cinema. Kana Hoshino. Got manga Dex. Kana Hoshino. Yeah, I guess it is called that. Yeah, okay, so there's just the first chapter that's been translated. It's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know if the manga's any good, but the anime intrigued me. This is me reading a manga. Anyway. There's also live action Kiki. Yeah, I've never seen that one. What about Gunbuster? I'm not a big fan of Gunbuster, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I won't get into it. I don't think it's a masterclass. No. What do you think of Chiaki Konaka? I mean, I like the guy. I like his work. Speed reading challenge. Yeah, that's how I read my manga. No, that's the reading speed of someone who doesn't read Japanese, but who's used to reading raws, because they haven't been translated yet, and you just really want to read that manga, but it hasn't been translated yet, so you just speed through it. Chiaki Konaka, I think, he's good. He's really good. I think he has some... he has a tendency toward kind of slow minimalist storytelling. That's the kind of thing that I used to write. That's my only criticism, is that the way he writes really resembles the way I used to write when I wasn't that good. Obviously his writing is still way better than mine was at the time, but what's the best thing Kanaka's ever written? That's that movie he wrote, Maboroshi, that I haven't written. Sorry, not Maboroshi. That's the Koreeda film. What's it called? Maribito or something like that. I haven't seen that film. But in terms of his anime, I mean, I've watched quite a few. Of course, he's not listed right away. Where is he? There he is. What's his best thing? Ghost Hound? Lane? Technolize? Trying to look at like the peak of his like storytelling abilities. I think it might be Ghost Town has a kind of restraint to it and develops in a way that's kind of satisfying, even though it's pretty slow. Lane is obviously pretty slow, but it's kind of carried by its visuals and its aesthetic. The Big O, more conventional, episodic storytelling. Yeah, I don't know if I would call any of these masterclasses, really. But I'd have to rewatch some of them. But he's obviously, he's one of the most well-known anime scriptwriters for a reason. What are you thinking about with this comparison between his and your old writing? I like that you specified between his and your old writing, because when I read what are you thinking about with this comparison, my boomer memory kicked in and I had no idea what you were talking about, what you were referring to. No, I'm talking specifically about the pacing and the way that the kind of psychological storytelling, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but when you're not a very good writer but you're interested in writing like psychological, philosophical stories, something you'll often do, I think, is kind of not focus too much on like on complex plotting, and you'll just kind of introduce an idea, and this character represents this, and this happens in this episode, and it's like this slow philosophical journey. And another example, which is maybe a better example, is actually what's his face? I always forget his name. The guy who did Akunohana and Chino Wadachi. His storytelling is also very much like that. Psychological focus and very kind of minimalistic developments within each chapter. Like when you read Blood Trail or whatever it's called, Trail of Blood or whatever, Chino Wadachi, like it's a very easy read because it's very atmospheric and slow, and not much happens, and there's not much dialogue because there's not much happening in each chapter. So you can read through it really quickly, but you have this sense of like psychological, existential dread, right? And it's easy to hang the audience's attention, or to kind of hook the audience's attention on that atmosphere and those allusions to a psychological state, rather than complex plotting and dialogue and whatnot. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, but that's a kind of way I used to write. And I think that's why I gravitated towards those kinds of writers when I was at that age as well. This is the stream when we collectively understand that screenwriting masterclasses are extremely rare in the Japanese animation industry. I mean, yeah, but that's to be expected. It's animation, right? Like if I was looking for the best literature in the world, I wouldn't look at film screenplays, right? I would probably look at novels or poems, you know. Like, this isn't really the focus of the medium. It should be there. It should be like anime, especially series, should be well written. Oshimi Shuzo, yeah, that's the guy. Anime should be well written if they are going to have a story. The story should be well written, but it's it's an audio-visual medium, so it's not necessarily the focus. So yeah, if we're looking for screenwriting masterclasses, you'd probably want to look at like Golden Age of Hollywood kind of stuff, you know, to find scripts that would get like top grades in school, you know, in script writing school. Yeah. Anime is probably not the place to find that. And yeah, I like Oshimi Shuzo. I enjoy his work, but I think it's pretty it's kind of shallow in one respect, which is, well, shallow is maybe not the right word, I don't know. It's kind of easy. It feels easy the way he tells his story. But again, that's just a matter of taste. Depends what you get out of it. If you enjoy his stories, then there's no problem, but it feels like a kind of facile way of constructing stories to me. It's getting pretty late here. It's like midnight, so I'll probably end stream in a minute. Let's just go through some more anime. Sonny Boy. I was just thinking about Sonny Boy. I think that's another example of, like, you know, it's a visual medium, it's animation. So the script is kind of solid, but it's kind of fragmentary and it leaves all these gaps. But the experience is enhanced because of the directing, the animation, the editing. So that's like the main focus. So that's a great series that demonstrates the fact that, like, anime like should have solid writing when there is writing, but it's not really the main focus. The majority of Japanese animation works play it safe. We need more anime originals, and with a non-conventional storytelling and production philosophy. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. Obviously, the majority of anime fit into well-established genres and formulas and stuff. Although, with that being said, if you compare it to like Western television in general, I feel like, I mean, we get a lot of pretty unique works in anime, don't we? We've gotten a lot of experimental anime series, even if we're just talking about the series, not even anime films, over the years. If you look at like television, like Western television, live action television, it's not the same at all. It's much more limited. So I do feel like there's a certain amount of creative freedom that's given to anime creators, directors, writers, animators. But yeah, I mean, and I think that's one of the things that attracts most of us to anime in the first place, that it seems like this cornucopia of creativity and variety. But yeah, as with any medium, of course, yeah, there's a lot of sameness, a lot of stuff that plays it safe, as you put it. Space Dandy, I wouldn't call it a masterclass. Gridman, no. Angel's Egg. Another example of, like, the plotting is there, like the themes, the development is there, the structure is there. There is a plot structure in Angel's Egg, but obviously the focus isn't there. The focus is on the animation, the direction, the art design. Yeah, I don't know. No masterclasses in sight, I guess. Not a very satisfying ending. Yuri Kumar Arashi is pretty good. It's got a pretty good script. Yeah. But then again, like, I mean, again, I haven't watched that much anime, and also I'm not necessarily attracted to this scripty kind of anime. Like, if I'm watching anime, I'm watching anime for the anime-ness, you know? So I am looking mainly probably at the animation, the directing and all that, the visual stuff. So there probably are some really well-written anime out there. I would assume that most of the best written anime are adaptations from media that maybe have more of a focus on the writing. But yeah, most likely because most original anime are self-contained works, TV shows usually need more than one season to tell their stories, so they need to compromise in order to attract viewership. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, original anime work obviously has to try to appeal to a certain demographic, play into an audience and all that. It's commercial, as with any medium. Alright, I think I'll probably end there. If there are any last questions, speak your piece now. Overall, that was a pretty chill stream, wasn't it? We came up with some ideas. We asked me some questions. It was alright. I promise, yeah. I mean, thanks. It was a pretty empty stream. I do promise that future streams will actually have some content. This was really a kind of test stream, just chill, just chatting, coming up with ideas and whatnot, answering some questions. But yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it. I will try to do streams on a regular basis, so what that means, I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe 2 or 3 streams a week. I think that would be pretty good while I work on videos in the meantime. Next video should be a Kubrick video, so get hyped for that. It'll be pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know what the next stream will be exactly, but it'll probably be one of these ideas here. And yeah, fun time. Feels sad ending the stream. It's been almost 3 hours. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why being a streamer is the dream. Because not only is it easy, like you're getting paid to like play video games or whatever, but even when you're not doing anything, even when you're just chatting shit with chat, like the time flies. It's been almost 3 hours and I haven't really done anything, and it's gone by pretty quickly, hasn't it? I don't know if it's been a great stream, Didi, let's be honest, but I appreciate the appreciation. Yeah, I hope all of you regulars will join me again in the next stream. So yeah, do I have a sign off? Should I best Monogatari girl? Okay, this will be my sign off. The answer to the question, who is the best Monogatari girl, will be my sign off. The best Monogatari girl is I've got to think this one through, because there are some contenders. The best Monogatari girl is Sodachi. I said it. That's right. I did it. Sodachi is the best Monogatari girl. That's my final word. Yeah. Thanks, guys.